Imagine this. You're scrolling through social media and you come across a short video explaining a fascinating scientific theory, but before you can even think about whether it's true, someone comments, "Don't believe it, came from TikTok." Without even considering the evidence, the claim is dismissed because of its source. That right there is a perfect example of what's called the genetic fallacy, judging an idea entirely by where it came from, not whether it's supported by facts. We see this everywhere, especially in politics, debates, advertising, even in conversations with friends and family. And while it may feel like a quick way to judge credibility, it's actually one of the easiest ways to make a bad decision. In this video, we'll be covering what the genetic fallacy actually is and where the term comes from, real world examples that show how it works, and why it's flawed and its reasonings. The genetic fallacy happens when someone accepts or rejects a claim only because of its origin. For example, if you say that's wrong because it was published by a tabloid, you might be right, but you might also be ignoring the actual evidence. According to Kopay and Cohen, introduced to logic, the name comes from genius, meaning origin, because the fallacy focuses on how an idea was born instead of whether it's true. A real world example would be politics. Let's say you're discussing climate change and someone says you can't trust that data, it was published by a left wing think tank. Here, the evidence isn't addressed. The conclusion is based only on the source's like political leaning. The science history about it is in 1912, meteorologist Alfred Wegener proposed the idea of the continental drift. The idea of continents moving over time. Geologists at the time mocked him and saying he's not like a geologist, and they dismissed the idea based on his profession and not the evidence. Like years later, his theory became the foundation of from modern plate tectonics. In everyday life, imagine a friend says you should take more time for yourself, and if you reply, "Why should I listen to you? You're my ex." You dismiss potentially like a good evidence just by simply dismissing it because of who said it. Why it's flawed? The problem is that the truth is determined by its origin. Psychologist Daniel Kahneman points out in Thinking Fast and Slow, our brains love shortcuts. Shortcuts can mislead us into different like evidence, and rejecting information just because of its source means you might be ignoring the valid reasoning or evidence by accepting the bad evidence from a source you can trust. It also feeds into confirmation bias. If you dislike a person, organization, or like a group, you're more likely to dismiss anything they're saying, no matter like how valid the reasoning actually might be. It narrows your perspective and keeps you in like an echo chamber. There's like a few ways you can avoid it. It's separate the source from substance. Like before you reject or accept a claim, you can ask like, is this supported by like a good website, or like is it just good evidence or like common knowledge? Like check your own bias. Like if you find yourself thinking, I don't like where this came from, that's your cue to like look closer, look into it, get the right facts, and then you can have like a decent conversation with your friends or family. If you demand proof from one source, like you can demand it from basically all, even the ones you like. And like the key takeaway is don't shoot the messenger. There's always somebody out there on like TikTok, Instagram that will say one thing, and then you go and look and it's the complete opposite. And then your mind starts to think, oh, this isn't right. I shouldn't look deeper into what's actually right. Just and like examine it, like get the right facts, and you might just find the truth in the most unexpected places. Even if you hate the group, the political party, the website, and even some websites that aren't trusted, you can find good evidence in other websites that are trusted, even if you don't like them. And that's the genetic fallacy.